Fred here, welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at the Joyetech eVic-VT kit from CigaBuy. CigaBuy did send me this for review. However, it does not influence how I judge this product. You know me, I'm honest. So, the first thing when I get another e-cig or vape type of device is I look at it and go, how is this different from the rest? Because there's so much of the same out there. Well, for one thing, and by the way, this is the kit, so there's more underneath here. Take a look at this. This is like race car inspired. Really, really cool. Now this is what they call, that sounded like a geek kind of laugh, they call yellow, but to my eyes, and probably to your eyes on this camera, it's orange. It's orange, which I prefer. I love this color, and it has the racing stripes on it. This comes in other colors too. It comes in a white with a blue stripe, and it also comes in a black with a red stripe, and they all are sort of around $55, give or take a buck, from CigaBuy. And I'll go ahead and put the links to all three kits below. Now these are the kits, which means it also includes underneath here, and we'll get to the up and closey, but I just want to show you what it includes, and we'll go over this stuff. It also includes the Ego 1 Mega tank. So let's just sort of see how that looks on top. Looks pretty cool, huh? Well, let's take a close look. I quickly threw everything back in the box so we could sort of go over what you get with this kit. You get the device, you get a lot of cardboard, a manual, a warranty card, a skin, to protect your device, which is kind of cool that they include this. I really do like that. And there's something else in here, an extra Atomizer head, which we will cover here shortly, a cable, and of course the Ego 1 Mega tank that matches the device. One thing I noticed right out the box is how heavy this device is and how solid it feels. It is really a rock solid device. Another thing is that there's no doors to put batteries in because it already has a battery built in that is not removable unless you disassemble the device. It has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, 5 volt, 1 amp built into it. Now I know there's a little controversy on this, and I think it was addressed by a very well-known vape reviewer here on YouTube. But someone opened this up and they added up the small batteries that add up to the 5,000. It didn't quite come up to 5,000. However, because of the configuration they're in, now I'm not an electronics expert, but because of the way they're put in, it actually does end up 5,000 milliamp hours, or that's the equivalent of what you get. And let me tell you, I've been vaping on this thing all week, and it lasts forever. It's incredible how long this thing lasts. Now I said it was very heavy. It also is a little large. One of the larger devices. It's about 3 1/4 inches tall. It is about 3/4 of an inch wide, give or take. These are rough estimates, and it's about 3/4 of an inch wide, maybe almost an inch wide. If you take into account the bulge that this has, you can see there's a sort of a bulge right where those racing stripes are. But a really, really solid device. I can't say that enough. It just really feels solid. To charge this device, you have a micro USB right there. And again, they gave you the cable right there. They did not give you a wall charger, but they gave you the cable. I'm fine with that. I don't need another wall charger. And It takes, let's see, how long does it take to charge? With a 1 amp charger, you should expect it to take about 6 hours to charge. Now look at this gorgeous OLED display. I really like this display a lot. Check that out. Now another standout feature of this is it's not just a variable wattage device. It is also a temperature control device, and it has different heads for this, which we'll be getting to really shortly, but it has both titanium and nickel heads to do its temperature control thing. So we'll go ahead and try it out with whatever happens to be in this tank here. But you can see how clear everything is on that display, and you change the display with this little I don't know what you would call this, but a little rotating switch here on top where you go real simple, and it just makes in this case, because of it's in variable wattage mode, it just goes up and down, and you could hold it there, you could hold it there. The button, real nice button, clicky, very clicky. Is there a little play in there? Just a little bit right there, not bad at all. 510 connector right on top. You have a little channel right there to help with airflow and maybe some juice runoff. A little bit of a concern. This switch here to go up and down is on the top, so if your tank leaks, I don't know if there'll be a problem there or not. I did not see any problems, or I have not experienced any problems with it. Another thing I'm not a big fan of is that this is a little bit loose feeling to me. I wish that was a little bit tighter. And really, those are my only concerns about the device. Everything else I absolutely love about this device, by the way. There's some venting in case there's a battery issue. So let's go over the specs really quick. You had different modes. I already told you, variable wattage. Then you have the temperature control with either titanium or nickel. The temperature range for this device will be between 100 and 315 degrees Celsius, which equates to 200 to 600 degrees Fahrenheit, and you can make it show either one. Your wattage range that you can get with this, when you are in your VT mode, which is variable titanium, you could go between 1 and 60 watts. Also in your variable wattage mode, you could go between 1 and 60 watts. So yeah, variable temperature and variable wattage 1 to 60 watts. Output voltage of this is 0.5 volts to 8 volts. Your resistant ranges is 0.05 to 1 ohm in variable temperature mode, and 0.15 to 3.5 ohm for variable watts. So that's the coils and the ranges that you could sort of set on top of this. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is fill up the tank, which I've already started off camera. I'm just going to go ahead and top it off here. This is my favorite juice of all time. This is Johnson Creek Vanda. It's a vanilla custard, and I love desserts. So if you like vanilla and you like custard, you can't do any better than Johnson Creek. Anyway, inside the tank, pre-installed, was the nickel coil, which is the 0.2 ohm, and you could tell that by the blue gaskets or blue O-rings right there. By the way, gold contact. Internally, you have organic cotton for your wick. Go ahead and screw this in here real quick, just like that. Just make sure it's snug. I'll go ahead and pop this on here. Screw that closed. Real nice. You can see you have a temperature, I keep on saying temperature control. You have a airflow control right there. On both sides, you have a slit, and they both open and close the same amount because it's a ring that opens and closes both at the same time, obviously. And you have a drip tip, and it's sort of a plastic, high temp type of plastic insulator there with 2 O-rings and a metal outside, so it keeps your lips cool. Really nice. That is the Ego 1 Mega with a 4 milliliter capacity, and it's 22 diameters. And there's the 510 connector right there. So your average tank. I'll tell you, this ring here is nice and smooth. I really like it. It's not complete. It is a little on the loose side, but it feels like very silky smooth. So shouldn't be a problem. Then we'll go ahead and pop it on the tank here. I'm sorry, onto the eVic-VT device, and you can see there's the 510 thread right there. You have some airflow slots there. You have another slot right here to help with that airflow. The 510 pin there has a little bit of give, has a little bit of adjustment there. Not too much, just a little bit. By the way, here's the titanium head still in its home. You could tell that by the red O-rings. And this is a 4 ohm titanium device with organic cotton. So you could, so it comes with the nickel in there and titanium out here. Now the recommended settings for the nickel, they say to set it between between 500 and 550 degrees. Now if you go ahead and put the titanium in here, that's between 450 and 500 degrees is what the recommended settings are, and that's in Fahrenheit. Of course, you can also do the Celsius thing. Just look in my notes, or just look it up on the website. Alright, so I'm going to open up the airflow all the way. Now, let's go ahead and start this device up. Now, the way that this works is, okay, see, she's asleep. I'm going to hit it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and she wakes up. Now, to go ahead and start changing settings in here, you hit it 3 times, just like that, and you can see it's blinking. Now, by pushing this switch to your left, I could sequence down these different items, just like this. I already zeroed the puff counter, but you do that just by pressing and holding the fire button. I'm going to come back up here and change this to temperature control in the nickel mode. Right now it's in titanium. It says Temp TI. So I'm going to go to your right while this is blinking, and that will sequence through. Whoops, I'm sorry. You know what happened? I waited too long. So let's go ahead and 1, 2, 3. And whoop, 1, 2, 3. And let me get back up there where it's blinking, and then we'll go in the other direction, and you can see how it changed the variable voltage, and right there is temperature NI right there. And it's, now I click it once and it stops blinking and it's back in normal mode, and now my device here can change the temperature. I'm going to bring it up to 530 degrees, which is about mid-range in the recommended setting. Now, next item here is 60 watts, which is the full watt setting. If I wanted to change that, what do? 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and then I could sort of cycle down, and then by going in the other direction, I could actually change it. And you can see how that changes there. And I'm going to go ahead and bring that back up to about, let's try 50. You can see when I press and hold it, it'll just start racing there, and then if I just click one by one, it goes in tenths of a watt. So we'll get that up to 50. Alright, we're almost there. It's like watching paint dry. There we go. Alright, and it recognized the correct ohm right there, puff counter. I don't want the puff counter there. I want the battery. Alright. By the way, temperature goes in 10-degree increments, so you can't do 545, let's say. I gotta get this back up to 530 is where I said I was going to do. Alright, so that's a pretty good setup right there. That's what I want. So let's go ahead topside and see how well it vapes. Now I can see how this could be overwhelming to the starter because there's so many different settings and everything. So if you're new to this, you probably want to get the manual out and read it. Now for people like me, I like to just mess with things until I can figure it out, and then last resort, if I can't figure it out, then I'll go ahead and break out the manual. So let's go ahead and see how well it works. Wow. That's probably the best temperature control vape I've had in a very long time, if maybe ever. That is good. So let you take a look at the screen while I'm vaping so you can see how that's working. So you can see that it's definitely doing its thing there. So very impressive. I've been playing with this all week, but I've been using it in regular variable watt mode just with some of my other devices because I'm not, again, a huge fan of temperature control. And that's just me personally, nothing against it. Because I know how to control my vape and my juice. Like I know if it's starting to go dry. I like to do it the old-fashioned manual way. But nickel. There's a little bit of stuff out there on the internet that it could be dangerous if it gets too high a temperature, and there may be some validity with that if you over temp nickel and you start breathing it in, because it's not something that's really safe to breathe in if it starts vaporizing, the actual nickel metal. Maybe that's why titanium came out. Now, I'm not sure. I have no idea about titanium. I'm not an expert, but there are concerns out there, so if anyone was going to comment below about that, I already know about it, but I'm not clever about that stuff. There are other videos you could check out. But as long as you keep that temperature within these ranges, which is the tolerances that they recommend, it is safe. There's nothing going to happen. There are some devices out there that if they accidentally get out of temperature control mode and then send that full 60 watts unregulated, no temperature control to that nickel coil, and then it really does get red hot and starts to give off some of that metal, that could be an issue. But I have not had that happen since we've been here trying it. It has not come out of mode, which is good. That is an amazing vape for temperature control. I am thoroughly impressed. Wow. And I'm loving my Vanda juice. I'm liking this device a lot. I'm really starting to like where the batteries are built in, so you don't have to take them out, because it makes the device feel more solid. I've had some devices where you put the batteries in and you close the hatch, however it is, and then that hatch has a little bit of play, a little bit of movement or something like that. But when you hold a device where it's internal and it's fixed in it, where it can't come out, you end up with a device that has no pieces moving on it. It just feels like a solid piece of metal in your hand, and that's the way this feels. It just feels rock solid, and the button is exactly the way you want it to be, because there are some buttons that are mushy. There are some buttons that don't have a good tactile feel to them. There's also some buttons where it clicks, but it's still not actually working until you press it a little bit harder to bottom out the pot. This one, however, when it clicks, it's working. So it's exactly the way I like my fire button to be. And that's a really good vape. So credit to the tank, credit to the device. This is the this is the Joyetech eVic-VT temperature control using either titanium or nickel, and you can also do your variable wattage, and you don't have to use the tank, although the kit comes with the matching tank, which makes the whole setup look amazingly cool. It's the sports car of vaping. I really like it. I don't know. I wish there was some way that I could let you feel the way this feels, because it is amazing. I'm going on about how this feels forever. Okay, so there's my review. of the eVic-VT. I do recommend it. Again, the only thing I don't like is this. I wish this felt a little more solid with less play. Your adjustment, you know, whatever they call this thing here, where you could either, depending on your mode, it'll move up your watch or your temperature or whatever, or depending where you are. It's a little. There's a little bit of a learning curve to figure it out, but once you have it figured out on how to change these things, then it's very quick and it works very, very well, sequencing through the menu and doing what you need. And that is a very nice screen, really nice screen right there. So recommend it, highly recommend it here on the Gear Obsession channel. And if you are interested, CigaBuy has this for, let me see, the orange one, just like this one, is $55.55. And that's the first link below. And then right underneath it is the white version with the blue stripe, and that's $53.99. And then you have the black with the red stripe, and that's $55.55. So please support my channel, and give me some thumbs up, give me some love, give me some subscribe, and check out CigaBuy, because they have some great prices, and I never had a problem with them. I always get these things back in a very reasonable amount of time, because it is coming from China, so you know how that goes. You know, it has to get all the way around the world, at least if you're here in the US. Alright, thank you very much for joining me here at the Gear Obsession channel. I really do appreciate every friend, viewer, subscriber, and especially you. And I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye.